Hello and welcome back to my channel, Thrifty Day. My name is Leah. I'm the creator behind Thrifty Day. Today's episode is going to be a little bit of me showing you how I prepare to get ready to use my December daily. A December daily is a journal that you work on every day in the month of December. I go up until the 25th, but I know that every creator does it a little bit different. So I just wanted you to see some of my little creations, my little decorations, and this is actually my journal from last year. And this is my new journal from this year. So for all of you who are wondering what I finally did with the cover, this is what I did. I added a frame and a vintage storybook picture right in that frame. I didn't end up going with plain, and I didn't end up going with the Tim Holtz die cuts. I went a totally different direction. So that is my journal for this year. We'll get into that more as the video progresses. I did also wanted to give you a sneak peek of my Patreon goodies for this month. I am in full swing. I'm about a week out of when they're going to ship, and my tables in my studio are absolutely full. My ephemera tier are getting tag flips. I'm making December dailies for my journal tiers. So as you can see, I am a very busy little elf over here. And I try to stay organized, but it feels like organized chaos if I'm being totally honest with you. But I did want to give you a sneak peek into the collection this month because I'm very proud of it and very excited about it. So let's get into my process and how I prepare to journal every day for the month of December up until the 25th. That is my journal from last year. As you can see, it's nice and bulky. This is the exact same style, the exact same size, the exact same page count. I love that size for a December daily. I think it's perfect. And I'll just give you a close-up of my journal cover because I love it. It is upcycled from a napkin that I found at TJ Maxx, I believe, and a scrap of that vintage style Santa fabric that I use for my Patreon members' December dailies. I loved it, and so I just wanted to sort of put it on my own. And I used a vintage storybook Santa image in that cover. So I'll do a quick flip through. I can't remember if I've already posted one here or not. Um, I try to keep my journal, my personal December daily journal, super basic. So there are a few pockets in here, but that's about it. Everything is plain. There's no trim, there's no ephemera. I will show you where all my ephemera is as the video progresses. Oh, I haven't even sealed my pockets yet. Oh, something to look forward to. But yes, I do try to keep my own very, very basic because I know I'm going to have lots of goodies that I want to add as the month progresses. I also try to keep in mind that many of these pages are going to be completely covered with wrapping paper or holiday cards or Christmas ephemera of some kind. So that is why I do try to keep it super basic with that knowledge that with Christmas comes a lot of really fun ephemera, and I'm going to want to stick it right in here. So keeping it plain and basic is definitely the way to go. I do add pockets though, because that makes it easy to slip some larger pieces of ephemera in. So let me show you how I store my personal ephemera. These are right on my desk. You saw them in the beginning of the video. They're large storage boxes. I found mine at Home Goods. I actually saw a really cute one yesterday at Home Goods that I hadn't seen before, but I didn't buy it because I already have these two and they're quite large. Um, Anytime I find little bits and pieces that I want to save or personal ephemera like my first Christmas tea, or just even little bits that I think will be cute, I save and I put in these boxes that are right on my desk. So as I begin to journal, I can start pulling from these boxes. Even little scraps from journals I've made, if their images are super cute, I keep them because there's no reason that they should go in the trash when I can use them to collage in my own journal. I save packaging because, like everyone else, Christmas starts even before December for me. So I've been saving all these little bits and pieces, like those reindeer. How cute is that? Of course, that's going to go in my journal. Just lots of little odds and ends. Will I use every one of these bits? Probably not, but it's important to have it all. My daughter is in a musical, and that is the kind of tea she uses as she warms up her voice. So for the first box, she's already gone through multiple. I clipped the cover so that I could add that into my journal. And this is an even larger one. I'm actually thinking it's about 14 inches tall. So this is a very big storage container, which is nice because at Christmas time, I told you, I have a lot of stuff. So this is just a peek into it. Just more scraps that I think would be nice to collage with. Packaging from tags. I mean, how cute would it be to even cut out those little Santas and use in the layout? Just lots of goodies. I even have napkins. These are not used napkins, by the way. I mean, they're used, but they were used to hold vintage plates at my grandmother's house, or my mother-in-law's house. Um, they were like plate separators to store, so they're not used in like a food sense. But I thought I could definitely use those to decoupage. This is some wrapping paper. My friend Lauren prides himself on amazing wrapping paper, and every year he does an amazing job. And every year I save his wrapping paper. So that was actually from last year. So I still have it. So I'm going to continue to use it. Oh, these are some cards and stuff that should be with my other ephemera. So I'll set those aside. But how sweet. That's from 1977, the year I was born. So I love that. I do try to keep my personal ephemera and scraps separate from my more vintage and sort of higher value ephemera, I guess. Oh, this one should be in my other ephemera too. We'll set that aside. We'll organize a little bit together. And so this is how I organize my personal ephemera or scraps or even what some people might perceive as trash. And this is just right on my desk, so it's easy to grab and easy to use. Now this bin, it's kind of hard to get in the frame. This bin is actually sitting on a shelf right next to my desk. And this is more, I guess you would call high value ephemera. It's a lot of it is vintage or um, a little bit more special or tiny. Actually, these pressed pennies were from our recent Disney Christmas trip. My daughter surprised me. She knows I love pressed pennies and she purchased those for me. So that's very special. And this is a stamp with Winnie the Pooh. My daughter's dog name is Winnie, so I love Winnie the Pooh things. So when I saw that vintage Winnie the Pooh stamp, I knew I wanted to put it, and it's Christmas. I knew I wanted to put it in my Christmas journal. So this little acrylic um, container holds lots of tiny things. So tiny stamps. In fact, let's move this out of the way. Vintage tags, vintage stamps, vintage labels. Anything that's tiny goes in this little acrylic bin so that I can easily find it, because sometimes these little pieces will get lost if you keep them in the bigger ephemera boxes. So I always try to keep my tiny things together so that when I'm looking for that tiny piece or that playing card or that tiny scrap of fabric or whatever, you see, there's so many different tiny little things in here. I mean, look at this Santa. I actually didn't even know I have that. And I end up putting it right in the front because I know that's something I want to use right away. So cute. Look at these are vintage, like perforated labels. That's actually just a digital, but so cute. I'll want to use that. So that way I know where these tiny things are, and it'll always be organized. And if I get more tiny things, I can also include them in the tiny acrylic container. And another great thing about this acrylic box and the smaller acrylic little container is that obviously you can see there's plenty of room to grow, because I'm not kidding myself in thinking I will not get more Christmas ephemera or print more digitals or find more cards. um, I definitely have room to add. And another thing that I do is I carry over items. So I had two big bins left over that were just my personal journal things from last year. I have now completely gone through those two big bins. I've organized them better. I've donated some things, and other things that I didn't get to use are now here organized for this year. So I try not to let things just stay. I try to really make sure I'm always filtering through and recycling and using and donating what I may not be able to use. So this is actually a mixture of many years and organized into a nice little bit that I can just use for 2023. And then whatever's left over will roll into 2024, and I'll repeat the same process again next year. So those are my tiny things. And now we can get into some of the bigger things that I have in this acrylic box. There's a lot of vintage storybook pages. This came out of a very damaged book. I used the cover, but the pages were very, very brittle. And so I thought I would just save them. They're very sweet. The illustrations are precious. And whether I use these for my personal journal or maybe to make tags and give as gifts, I don't know. And these are very vintage postcards. I believe one is from 1902 and one is from 1910. It's hard to see the postage there, but I loved them. And I actually scanned them and used them as ephemera in my upcycled journal that I'm still working on, made out of the Amazon mailer. And these are a lot of vintage cards that I have hoarded over the years. I have many. I love them. I love buying vintage Christmas cards. I love a good 50s and 60s vibe. I love really whimsical mid-century modern. This is one of my favorite. I actually have two of these ones. I love this Santa card. I meant to put these as pages in journals and forgot, so here they are. I'll use them in one way or another. And then this is a night before Christmas. Ooh, Disney. You can take Leah out of Disney, but you can't take Disney out of Leah. Um, so just lots of goodies that I will hopefully use. I'll put these pieces in too. We'll organize those. I also have lots of Tim Holtz. I love Tim Holtz. I love his products. I love his ephemera packs. I love his wallpapers. I love everything that he does year round, but especially at Christmas. I love ideology. I love it all. So these are actually new. If you follow me here or on TikTok or Instagram, you saw me do a flip through of all of these very 70s greeting cards. I bought it for this one. Stop it. This is my dad. Ole ole, happy holiday. I love it. And I also love that they're like people of color on a lot of those covers. That made me happy too. So really neat. My middle name is Joy, and those are some of my favorite colors. So these are really special to find. I will definitely be using these in my journaling process. I'm super excited. Some I may actually save to make my own personal journal for next year. I'm not sure, but I love these. I love the red and gold. I love the red and gold. That really speaks to me. And this Christmas tree is actually incredible, and I might save that one for a journal next year as well. So these are beautiful. I was obsessed with them. Some I will use, some I will save, but either way, I'm going to keep them all here together. Um, this is some vintage packaging that I've had for years that I may or may not use. I don't know. I haven't so far, but I love it. It is everything I need in a Brady Bunch Christmas. So, of course, I have them here again. These are some stickers from when my daughter used to have a little sticker company before she started teaching. And I've had those for years too. So I will continue to use those in my journaling process. And this is just some vintage wrapping paper that I use every year because I had a good amount. See, there's still some there too. So I keep that in this little bin. I also keep my Tim Holtz holiday phrase stickers here. I have one from either last year or the year before and this year's. So I keep those close because I use those a lot. These are both Christmas specific. So I keep those in the bin so I can easily reach for those. Y'all know I use star stickers year round. So I have a whole brand new package here ready for Christmas. And then this is another little box that I keep my vintage, those little tiny vintage labels in. So, they were like perforated. They're like, I think you're supposed to lick them. I don't. I use glue, but I keep those in here and just a few other little odds and ends. I have that red metal ring that I want to use. And so really this is where I keep my little tiny fragile vintage decal or label stickers. But I do have a couple other little goodies in there, but how cute are those? I use them every year. I just think they're so sweet. There's a little vintage domino that made its way in there too. I was also excited because I had two of these little tiny wooden ornaments that I'm about to show you left over from what I was doing for my Patreon members. And one says Noelle, which is my daughter's middle name, and one is just super cute, like on a little drum. So I was excited to have a couple. They're vintage left over. I don't know if I decide to make a journal charm. At least I can use these. I don't know how I'll use them, but I just thought I would keep them close by in case I wanted to use them in my process. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you were inspired. I am ready to go. I highly recommend getting yourself a little bit organized so that you have everything ready if you do intend to journal every day. I know it does sound a little bit daunting sometimes, but I have found that this system is really useful when you're purposeful about your journaling. And if you miss a day, that's okay. You can do catch-up journaling. So I will be posting process videos here on YouTube, and I can't wait. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.